Welcome, and thank you for choosing to engage with our content today. Before we proceed, it's important for us to share some essential information and ensure you're fully informed about what to expect. You're about to view or listen to a unique experience that employs Ericksonian Conversational Hypnosis techniques. These techniques are designed to guide you into a relaxed state, potentially enhancing your ability to absorb suggestions and ideas more readily. It's a subtle, often enjoyable process aimed at fostering personal insight and relaxation. Please note, the content you're about to engage with is created for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional therapy or medical advice. If you're seeking support for specific psychological or health-related issues, we strongly encourage you to consult a licensed therapist or healthcare provider. Informed consent and expectations. By continuing, you acknowledge that you understand the nature of the content and agree to participate voluntarily. You recognize that while Ericksonian hypnosis can be a tool for relaxation and self-improvement, results can vary widely among individuals. You agree to take full responsibility for your participation and any outcomes that may arise from engaging with this content. Some disclaimers. This content is provided as is for non-therapeutic use only. The creators make no claims regarding the efficacy of the Ericksonian conversational hypnosis techniques used herein for any specific purposes beyond general relaxation and entertainment. If you are currently undergoing treatment for any psychological or psychiatric conditions, please consult with your therapist or healthcare provider before engaging with this content. If at any time during the experience you feel uncomfortable, you are encouraged to discontinue watching or listening and seek professional advice if necessary. Safety notice. Please ensure you are in a safe, comfortable environment where you can relax without being disturbed. Do not engage with this content while driving, operating heavy machinery, or in any situation where altered attention could pose a risk. Finally, our aim is to provide an engaging, positive experience that introduces you to the possibilities of self-exploration and relaxation through Ericksonian conversational hypnosis. Remember, your well-being is our utmost priority, and you are in control of your experience at all times. Thank you for your attention. If you agree to these terms and feel comfortable proceeding, let's begin this journey together. It's Ghost Wheeler. The story is Embrace the Suck. Let's get started. Great day we're having, right? I called out to a private as he walked past me on his way to washing out of the program. He scowled, muttered something under his breath, and shot me a look as if I were crazy. But I knew better. Deep down, beneath the exhaustion and frustration, he was fighting his own battle. About a minute later, I heard the bell in the courtyard clang, signaling another soldier had quit. It was a sound that echoed through the training grounds, a reminder of the harsh reality of our journey. But for those of us still standing, still pushing forward despite the odds, it was also a rallying cry. It was a challenge to embrace the suck, to defy the odds and prove that we were made of stronger stuff. In hell, where the heat scorches the earth and the air hangs heavy with the weight of exhaustion, that's where our story begins. Here, amidst the chaos and cacophony of shouting instructors, where the weak are weeded out and the strong are forged, there is no room for comfort, no place for complacency. This is where warriors are made, where they learn to embrace the suck. And as Private Jackson and I joined our comrades in the crucible of military training for elite performance, I knew that we were about to embark on a journey unlike any other. A journey that would test us in ways we never thought possible, that would push us to our limits and beyond. But I also knew that if we could endure, if we could embrace the suck and emerge stronger on the other side, then we would become the warriors we were always meant to be. Amidst the relentless cacophony of clanging bells, we marched forward, our spirits dwindling with every step. Private Jackson, his once fiery resolve now dimmed by exhaustion, struggled to keep pace with the rest of us. Every movement seemed to sap what little energy we had left, as if the weight of our fatigue was dragging us down into the depths of despair. The toughest part of the program had been compressed into one grueling week, a relentless onslaught of physical and mental challenges that had pushed us to our breaking point. We had endured obstacle courses that tested our endurance, marches through unforgiving terrain that left us battered and bruised, and sleepless nights spent wrestling with our doubts and fears. But through it all, we had persevered. We had dug deep, drawing upon reserves of strength we never knew we had, to push through the pain and the exhaustion. Yet, as the days stretched on, even the strongest among us began to falter. And now, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the training grounds, I longed for nothing more than to collapse into a dreamless slumber. But sleep was elusive, a luxury reserved for those who hadn't been tested and pushed to their limits. Instead, I lay there in the darkness, my body aching, my mind racing with thoughts of failure and defeat. The weight of the week's trials bore down on me like a crushing burden, threatened to snuff out the last flicker of hope within me. But even in my darkest hour, I refused to surrender. I clenched my jaw against the pain, determined to find the strength to carry on. For in hell, where the heat scorches the earth and the air hangs heavy with the weight of exhaustion, there is no room for weakness. There's only the relentless pursuit of excellence, the unwavering determination to become the best of the best. And so, as I lay there in the darkness, I vowed to rise again with the dawn, to face whatever challenges awaited me with courage and conviction, for I knew that the true test of my mettle was yet to come, and I would be ready. Welcome back. This is Coach Wheeler. Now for part 2 of Embrace the Suck. As the first light of dawn pierced the darkness, we rose from a fitful slumber, weary but determined. The air was thick with anticipation, a palpable tension that hung over us like a shroud. We knew that today would bring new challenges, new tests of our resolve, and we braced ourselves for whatever lay ahead. As we gathered in the courtyard, our instructors appeared before us, their faces stern and unyielding. Today, you will face your toughest challenge yet, one of them announced, his voice carrying across the silent expanse. A ripple of apprehension ran through the ranks, but we stood tall, steeling ourselves for what was to come. With grim determination, we followed our instructors to the edge of the training grounds, where a towering wall loomed before us. Your task is to scale this wall, another instructor barked, his eyes boring into ours with unwavering intensity. But beware, for failure is not an option. With a sense of trepidation, we approached the wall, our muscles tensing in anticipation. The surface was smooth and unyielding, offering no purchase for our weary hands and feet. But we refused to be deterred. With each passing moment, our resolve hardened, our determination burning brighter than ever before. With a mighty roar, we launched ourselves at the wall, our fingers clawing desperately for a foothold. Inch by agonizing inch we began to ascend, the muscles in our arms and legs screaming in protest. But still, we pressed on, driven by the knowledge that our very survival depended on our success. Then, just as it seemed we could go no further, we reached the summit, our bodies trembling with exhaustion and triumph. For in that moment, we knew that we had overcome the impossible, that we were capable of far more than we had ever imagined. But little did we know, as we stood atop that towering wall, that the true test of our mettle was yet to come. As we scanned the horizon, searching for the next challenge that awaited us, a sense of foreboding washed over us like a tidal wave. As the first drops of rain began to fall, casting a chill over the training grounds, I couldn't shake the feeling that our ordeal was far from over. As we stood atop the wall, the raindrops splattered against our skin, mingling with the sweat and grime that coated our bodies. But we paid them little heed, our attention focused on the daunting expanse of forest that lay before us. "This sucks," Private Jackson muttered under his breath, his voice heavy with fatigue and frustration. I couldn't help but agree. The thought of plunging into the heart of that dark and forbidding forest filled me with a sense of unease unlike anything I've ever known. But there was no turning back now. With grim determination, we descended from the wall and made our way towards the forest, the rain falling steadily around us. The air was thick with tension, the silence broken only by the sound of our own ragged breaths. As we ventured deeper into the forest, the trees closed in around us like silent sentinels, their branches reaching out to snatch at our clothing and skin. The rain grew heavier, turning the forest floor into a muddy quagmire beneath our feet. With each step, the darkness seemed to press in upon us, suffocating and oppressive. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the stillness, echoing through the trees like a primal cry of anguish. My heart leaped into my throat as I spun around, searching desperately for the source of the sound. But all I could see was the swirling darkness, punctuated by flashes of lightning that illuminated the forest with brief, blinding flashes. "This just keeps getting better," I muttered sarcastically. My nerves stretched to the breaking point, but there was no time for fear, no time for doubt. We pressed on, driven by a fierce determination to overcome whatever challenges lay ahead. And then, just as it seemed we could go on no further, we stumbled upon it. A clearing, bathed in moonlight, its center dominated by a massive ancient tree. Its branches twisted and gnarled, reaching out like skeletal fingers towards the heavens. As we stood there in the clearing, our breaths coming in ragged gasps, I couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister lurked within the shadows, waiting to strike, and as the darkness closed in around us, I knew that our ordeal was far from over. Hello, this is Coach Dave Wheeler. Welcome back to Part 3 of Embrace the Suck. In the heart of the dark and foreboding forest, with the rain pouring down in torrents and the thunder rumbling overhead, we faced our greatest challenge yet. But instead of succumbing to fear or despair, we embraced the suck with a fierce determination born of sheer willpower. As we stood in the clearing, our eyes fixed on the ancient tree before us, a sense of apprehension settled over us like a heavy cloak. But we refused to be cowed. With a silent nod to one another, we stepped forward, our resolve unshakable despite the uncertainty that lay ahead. "This is it," Private Jackson muttered, his voice barely audible above the roar of the storm. "Our moment of truth." I nodded, my jaw clenched against the pounding rain. "Let's do this," I replied, my voice firm and unwavering. With that, we plunged into the darkness, our footsteps echoing through the forest like a drumbeat of defiance. The branches clawed at our skin, the mud sucked at our boots, but still we pressed on, driven by a relentless determination to succeed. As we neared the ancient tree, a sense of foreboding settled over me like a heavy weight. I could feel the eyes of unseen watchers upon us, their gaze filled with malice and menace, but I refused to be intimidated. With a defiant roar, I charged forward, my heart pounding in my chest. And then, just as we reached the base of the tree, disaster struck. With a deafening crack, a massive branch came crashing down from above, narrowly missing us as it shattered against the forest floor. I stumbled backwards, my heart racing with adrenaline, but still I refused to give up. "We can't let this stop us," I shouted over the roar of the storm. "We've come too far to turn back now." And with that, we redoubled our efforts, pushing forward with a sense of renewed purpose. For in that moment, as the rain poured down and the thunder rumbled overhead, we knew that the true test of our mettle had only just begun. And as we braced ourselves for whatever lay ahead, I couldn't help but feel a surge of pride at the realization that we were capable of far more than we had ever imagined. As we pressed forward through the relentless downpour, our determination to succeed burning brighter than ever, another soldier stumbled and fell to his knees, his resolve finally broken. "I can't do this anymore," he cried, his voice choked with tears and defeat. "I'm done." But even as he uttered those words, I knew that I could not follow him down that path. I could not let his weakness become my own. With a heavy heart, I watched as he turned and walked away, disappearing into the darkness of the forest, leaving us behind. But I refused to be swayed. I refused to let his failure dictate my fate. With a fierce determination born of sheer willpower, I pressed on, my muscles burning with exertion, my mind focused on the task at hand. As we reached the base of the ancient tree, I could feel the weight of the moment pressing down upon me like a physical force. But instead of succumbing to fear or doubt, I embraced the suck with a sense of grim determination. With every ounce of strength I possessed, I began to climb, my fingers and toes finding purchase on the rough bark of the tree. Inch by agonizing inch, I ascended higher and higher, the rain lashing against my skin, the thunder rumbling overhead. Then, just as it seemed I could go no further, I reached the top, my heart pounding in my chest, my breath coming in ragged gasps. But there was no time to rest. With a final burst of energy, I pushed myself over the edge, collapsing onto the ground in a heap of exhaustion and triumph. As I lay there, soaked to the bone and utterly spent, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride wash over me. For in that moment, as the storm raged around me, and the forest echoed with the sounds of our struggle, I knew I had achieved something truly extraordinary. As I closed my eyes and let the darkness engulf me, I knew that whatever lay ahead, I would face it with courage and conviction. For in the crucible of adversity, I had discovered the true meaning of strength, and I would carry that knowledge with me for the rest of my days. The end. Let's take a step back and talk about the story for a second. In the midst of life's trials and tribulations, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the challenges that confront us. But I want you to know that you are capable of far more than you realize. Just like the soldiers in our story, you have within you the strength and resilience to overcome even the toughest of obstacles. Embracing the suck isn't about pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It's about acknowledging the difficulties that come your way and facing them head-on with courage and determination. It's about recognizing that growth often comes through struggle, and that by pushing through the pain and the discomfort, you can emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before. So whatever challenges you may be facing in your own life, I urge you to embrace the suck. Lean into the discomfort, and know that on the other side lies the opportunity for growth and transformation. you have the power within you to overcome whatever obstacles stand in your way and to emerge victorious in the end. Believe in yourself and never underestimate your own strength and resilience. Embrace the suck and watch as you rise to meet whatever challenges life may throw your way. This is Coach Wheeler, and please subscribe. Hey, this is Coach Wheeler, and now I'd like to explain how the Ericksonian elements in the story work and which ones they are. So, throughout the story, several elements of Ericksonian Conversational Hypnosis are subtly woven into the narrative to engage and influence the reader or listener's subconscious mind. Here's how they work. First one, embedded commands. Embedded commands are strategically placed within the dialogue and narrative to subtly direct the reader or listener's thoughts and actions. For example, phrases like, "Let's do this," and "You will face" serve as commands that encourage the reader to adopt a mindset of determination and resilience. By embedding these commands within the story, the reader or listener is more likely to internalize them without consciously realizing it. Second element, pacing and leading. The pacing of the story is carefully structured to mirror the reader or listener's emotional journey, gradually building tension and suspense as the narrative unfolds. By leading the reader or listener through a series of challenges and obstacles, the story creates a sense of empathy and identification with the protagonist's struggle. This allows the reader or listener to vicariously experience the process of embracing the suck and overcoming adversity. Third element is called utilization. Utilization involves incorporating elements from the listener's own experience into the story to enhance its impact. In this case, the story draws on universal themes of resilience, determination, and personal growth that resonate with readers and listeners on a subconscious level. By tapping into these shared experiences, the story becomes more relatable and compelling, encouraging the reader to reflect on their own ability to overcome challenges in their lives. Fourth element, analogical communication. Analogical communication involves using metaphors, symbolism, and imagery to convey deeper meanings and insights. Throughout the story, the military training serves as a metaphor for life's challenges, with the obstacles faced by the protagonist reflecting the struggles that readers or listeners may encounter in their own lives. By framing the story in this way, readers, listeners, are able to draw parallels between the protagonist's journey and their own experiences, gaining new perspectives and insights in the process. Overall, these Ericksonian elements work together to create a narrative that not only entertains and inspires, but also subtly influences the reader's or listener's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. By engaging the subconscious mind and tapping into universal human experiences, the story encourages readers to embrace the suck and harness their inner strength to overcome whatever challenges they may face. If you like this story, be sure to subscribe.